What's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing? Blitzball Champ of Blitzball Champ Gaming is back here once again with a brand new episode of Pro Wrestling Talk here on the U to the Tube Live. So, got a good bit to talk about tonight. I'll go over the current standings of Stardom's Goddess of Stardom Tag League. We'll talk about that. This weekend, the New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of the Super Juniors and the World Tag League tournaments will both begin. And of course, those will be running at the same time, running their course. Let's see. We also got New Japan Pro Wrestling's Battle in the Valley. That's also this weekend as well. So I'll go over the card for that. I'll preview the card for this weekend's AEW Full Gear pay-per-view, last pay-per-view of the year for AEW, and much, much more. So gonna go into quite a lot tonight. So hope you have your popcorn, hope you have your drinks ready. And let's get right into it because we got a good bit to cover. It's gonna be fun. So let's first go over the current standings of the Goddess of Stardom Tag League. And like I said, there's still a few matches remaining, but it's winding down. This tournament is definitely winding down. So let's go ahead and get started with covering that. So let's look at the red block first. Okay, red block. So right now, at the bottom of the red block, with no points still, is the sisters, Hanan and Rina, nicknamed Water and Oil. But yeah, they have 0 points. They have lost to Utami Hayashishita and Saya Kamatani. They've lost to Hime Poi. They've lost to Hazuki and Koguma. And they've lost to Fukiken Def and Saki Kashima. And the only match that they have left is against Unagi Sayaka and Mai Sakurai. Sitting at 2 points are Unagi Sayaka and Mai Sakurai of Cosmic Angels. Let's see. They've defeated Hime Poi. Yeah, they've defeated Hime Poi and they've defeated Saki Kashima and Fukiken Def, but they've lost to Aphrodite and Hazuki and Koguma. And the only match they have left is against Hanan and Rina. Saki Kashima and Fukiken Def have 4 points. So let's see. They've defeated Utami Hayashishita and Saya Kamatani, and they've defeated Hanan and Rina. But they've lost to Unagi Sayaka and Mai Sakurai, and they've lost to Hime Poi. And the match that they have left is against Hazuki and Koguma. All right. Oh, correction. Unagi Sayaka and Mai Sakurai have 4 points. My mistake. They have 4 points. So they have 4 points, and Saki Kashima and Fukiken Def have 4 points. So Hanan and Rina have 0. Saki and Fukiken Def have 4. Unagi and Mai have 4. At 5 points, we actually have a tie. At 5 points, we have Hazuki and Koguma and Aphrodite sitting at 5 points. So that means, let's look at Hazuki and Koguma. They have defeated Unagi Sayaka and Mai Sakurai and the sisters, Hanan and Rina. They've lost to Hime Poi, and they had a draw with Aphrodite. And then looking at Aphrodite, they have defeated Hanan and Rina and Mai Sakurai and Unagi Sayaka. They lost to Saki Kashima and Fukiken Def, and they have the draw with Koguma and Hazuki. So Koguma and Hazuki still have to go up against Saki Kashima and Fukigen Death. Aphrodite, they still need to go up against Himepoi. And then sitting at the top of the red block is Himepoi with 6 points. That's Himeka and Natsupoi. So they have defeated, they've only lost once so far. They've defeated Hazuki and Koguma, Saki Kashima and Fukigen Death, and Hanan and Rina. But they lost to Unagi Sayaka and Mai Sakurai. And their final match is against Aphrodite. So looking at the red block, so pretty much all Himepoi has to do is to win this final match, and they pretty much advance to the finals. But of course, what's interesting is if both Utami Hayashi, if both Aphrodite and Hazuki and Koguma win, then that's going to be interesting because it would be a tie, and they both have a draw with each other. So it makes me wonder how they would settle that. I guess 1, 2, and then 1, 2. Yeah, that would be interesting how they would settle that if Aphrodite and Hazuki and Koguma won. I wonder how they would settle that. So that's interesting. That is very interesting. Now, of course, but I think Unagi Sayaka, Mai Sakurai, and Saki Kashima and Fukigen Death are both pretty much out of it. So those first 3 teams at the top are pretty much the only teams that still have a chance to advance to the finals from the Red Goddess block. If I had to pick one out of those 3 teams, that's hard. That's really, really tough. That's really tough. I would love to see. I mean, Aphrodite would be nice. I mean, remember, Aphrodite, they didn't win it last year. Last year it was won by Momoaz, which was Momo Watanabe and Azumi. So, I mean, Aphrodite winning would be nice. Hazuki and Koguma winning would actually be pretty cool. They would probably be my first choice. But honestly, I'd be okay with either of these 3 teams advancing out of the red block, personally. So I'm okay with either of these 3 teams. But should be interesting. All right, let's take a look at the blue block. So the Blue Goddess block, let's see. So at the bottom with 0 points is Lady C and Waka Tsukiyama. C Moon is the name of their team. And they've lost against Azumi and Momo Watanabe, Shuri and Maika, Starlight Kid and Ruoka, and Mayu Iwatani and Ren Katakura. They have 1 match left, which is against Tam Nakano and Mina Shirakawa. But they're pretty much eliminated. Dream H of Tam Nakano and Mina Shirakawa only have 1 point. So they're definitely eliminated. They've lost to Azumi and Momo Watanabe, Shuri and Maika, Starlight Kid and Ruoka, and they have a draw with Mayu Iwatani and Ren Katakura. And the only match that they have left is against Simu, which is Lady C and Waka Tsukiyama, which that could go either way, but they are also eliminated. Okay, we have a 2-way tie at 5 points with Momoaz, Azumi and Momo Watanabe, and Starlight Kid and Ruoka. So it's close there. Let's see. Starlight Kid and Ruoka. They have beaten Lady C and Waka Tsukiyama and Tam Nakano Mina Shirakawa. They've lost to Mayu Iwatani and Ren Katakura, and they have a draw with Moaz. So the only team that they have left to face is Shuri and Maika. And then Momoaz, let's see, they've defeated Lady C and Waka Tsukiyama, Mina Shirakawa and Tam Nakano. They've lost to Shuri and Maika, and they have a draw against Starlight Kid and Ruoka. And the only match that they have left is against Mayu Iwatani and Ren Katakura. Okay, sitting at second place of the Blue Goddess block with 6 points is Shuri and Maika. So it's going to be really close there. Shuri and Maika, they have defeated Lady C and Waka Tsukiyama, Tam Nakano and Mina Shirakawa, and Momoaz, but they've lost to Mayu Iwatani and Ren Katakura. And the only match that they have left is against Starlight Kid and Ruoka. And then sitting at the top of the Blue Goddess block with 7 points is Mayu Iwatani and Ren Katakura. Let's see. They have yet to lose. They haven't lost yet. They've defeated Momoaz, Starlight Kid and Ruoka, and Lady C and Waka Tsukiyama. They have a draw against Tam Nakano, Mina Shirakawa. And the final match that they have is against Shuri and Maika. Wait, no. No, that's not correct. I'm sorry. They still have to face Starlight Kid and Ruoka. No. Wait a minute. Wait, who do they still have left to face? Okay, now I'm confused. Okay, it doesn't have it listed. Oh, they still have to face Momoaz. They still have to face Momoaz. Okay, that was what was confusing to me. They still got to face Momoaz. Okay. That was what confused me. Okay. So they're still at the top with 7 points. Honestly, I think it's going to come down to well, there's 4 teams that are still in it. But if Mayu Iwatani and Ren Katakura get the victory, they're in. Joe Valesco, off topic. Do you watch Cowboy Bebop live action? I plan to. It doesn't come out until November 19th. I plan to. I'm giving it a 5-episode trial because I still feel iffy about it. You know, being a hardcore Cowboy Bebop fan, I didn't agree with the idea in the first place of a live action existing, but I have a little bit of hope because Yoko Kanno is the composer and Shinichiro Watanabe is a special consultant on this live action series. I don't like John Cho as Spike Spiegel. Not a big fan of how Faye Valentine looks. Jet Black, spot on. But it's going to be 10 episodes. I'm going to give it 5. If I'm not impressed by the end of 5 episodes, I'm not going to finish it. I will refuse to finish it if it doesn't impress me at the end of 5 episodes. So, but yeah, I do plan on seeing it. I'll at least give it a chance. Anyway, with the Blue Goddess block, what team would I like to see? To be honest, I would like to see Mayu and Ren Katakura win. Shuri and Maika, I don't want them to win, only because I want Shuri to really concentrate on pursuing the red belt. And Momoaz, I mean, they won it last year. So, I mean, Starlight Kid and Ruoka, I just don't see it. I think Mayu and Ren will make it to the finals for the Blue Goddess block. So I think they're going to advance. And the Red Goddess block, like I said, it could be Aphrodite, Himepoi, or Hazuki and Koguma. It's going to be close. It's definitely going to be close in the red block, but I would like to see the Mayu and Ren make it out of the blue block to the finals. So, yeah, this has been so the finals will be on Sunday. So we got a few matches to finish out. I think each team has one match left, and then they'll have the finals of the Goddess of Stardom Tag League. So it'll be interesting to see who wins and gets those fancy rings. And I'm sure with them, whoever wins will get a shot at the Goddess of Stardom tag titles. So it's a lot to look forward to there. So we got 2 nights left, and the finals will be on Sunday. So looking forward to that. But yeah, that does it for Stardom. All right, let's look at some New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's take a look at the announced World Tag League teams and also the Best of Super Juniors, because both of those tournaments kick off this weekend. So let's start with the World Tag League. So the teams announced. We got the Gorillas of Destiny, Tamatanga, Tangaloa, making their 6th entry and their 6th consecutive World Tag League. And remember, they won the World Tag League in 2020. We have the Dangerous Techers, a very familiar face. They're the current IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. They're making their 3rd entry, their 3rd consecutive entry into this tournament. We got Great Bash Heel, which is made up of Tomoaki Honma and Togi Makabe. This is their 6th entry and their 1st in 2 years, so it's been a while. But they've won the tournament in 2015 and 2016. So they're veterans that are capable of winning this tournament. You got Tenkozi, which is Hiroyoshi Tenzan and Satoshi Kojima. They're making their 9th entry, and this is their 1st in 2 years. So it's been a while for them as well. We got Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi teaming up. This is their 3rd entry, 2nd consecutive year. We have Evil and Yujiro Takahashi making their 2nd entry, 2nd consecutive year. We have Bad Luck Fale. That's a name we haven't seen in a while. Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens making their 4th entry, 3rd consecutive into this tournament. Making their debut entry as a team in this tournament are LIJ's Tetsuya Naito and Sanada. So Tetsuya Naito will be making his return into this tournament. He's coming back from injury. So definitely looking forward to seeing what they can do. We have Toru Yano and Hiroshi Tanahashi teaming up for the first time in this tournament. That's going to be a very interesting team for this tournament. Very interesting. But hey, you never know. We have the Great Okarn and Aaron Hanare of United Empire making their debut entry into this team. So it was good to see Aaron Hanare back into action. But yeah, him and the Great Okarn. We have Yuji Nagata and Tiger Mask teaming up. So 2 legends right there making their debut as a tag team into this tournament. This could be interesting. 2 legends teaming up. We have Minoru Suzuki and a returning Taka Michinoku of Suzuki Gun teaming up, making their debut as a tag team into this tournament. So, wow, we're going to see Taka Michinoku back in New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is crazy. But hey, I mean, he's been part of Suzuki Gun before, so not that big of a surprise. But yeah, those are your teams. Definitely some interesting teams this year. Very interesting teams. I mean, honestly, it's hard to pick a favorite. it's really hard to pick a favorite because the lineup is very interesting. But that kicks off this weekend. But yeah, it's exciting. All right, let's take a look at the lineup for the Best of the Super Juniors. This is the 28th Best of Super Juniors, and there will be 12 entrants for this tournament. Let's take a look at them. All right, we got El Desperado, the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, making his 5th entry and his 2nd consecutive year. We got Sho, making his 4th entry, 4th consecutive year into this tournament. We have Hiromu Takahashi making his 6th entry, his 3rd in a row. And remember, he's won this tournament twice, once in 2018 and once in 2020. We have Yo making his 4th entry into this tournament. This is his 1st in 2 years, so it's been a while. We have Master Wato making his 2nd entry for his 2nd year in a row. So Master Wato's up in there. We got El Phantasmo, which this is his 2nd entry, his 1st time in 2 years. And don't forget, he's won this tournament once before. Remember, he won it in 2019, and he also won the Super J Cup in 2020. So El Phantasmo, definitely a threat. We got Ryusuke Taguchi making his 18th entry into this tournament, his 16th consecutive entry, and he won this tournament back in 2012. So there's a Best of Super Junior veteran right there making his 18th entry. So very familiar with this tournament. We got Robbie Eagles making his 3rd entry, 3rd consecutive entry. He's, of course, one half of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. We have Yoshinobu Kanemaru making his 4th entry, his 1st in 2 years. So it's been a while since we've seen him. We got Bone Soldier, Taiji Ishimori, making his 5th entry and his 4th consecutive year. So it's another familiar face. We have LIJ's Bushi making his 9th entry with his 6th consecutive entry into this tournament. Another familiar face. We have Doki making his 3rd entry, 3rd consecutive year. So those are the 12 participants in this year's Best of Super Juniors tournament. Oh, man. It's going to be very interesting to see who wins it this year. Of course, last year, Hiromu Takahashi won it, which he's back again in this year's. Honestly, I don't know who I would want to win, to be honest with you. It's kind of hard to pick because there's some good names in this list. Although I wish there would have been more outside talent for this tournament. I wish there could have been more outside talent, but of course, with traveling and the pandemic and everything, it makes it kind of difficult. So it's understandable, but I think they'll still have a good tournament. But I definitely like this lineup. It's a good lineup, and it could go either way. And then let's see the finals. The finals for both of these tournaments looks like will be on Wednesday, December 15th. Wednesday, December 15th will be the finals of both of these tournaments. So we got a long ways to go, but it should be exciting. Okay, that's it for those. Let's talk about this Battle in the Valley show that's Saturday as well. This will be taking place in San Jose, California. So let's take a look at the card for this. First, starting off, we got a strong extra match. It's going to be Kevin Knight and the DKC going up against Bullet Club's Hikuleo and Chris Bay, which, I'm pretty sure Hikuleo and Chris Bay probably going to win that. We have a singles match, Yu Uemura versus Josh Alexander, which I think Josh Alexander will win. We have a tag team match. We got Bateman and Mysterioso going up against Brody King and Chris Dickinson of Violence Unlimited. Definitely think Brody King and Chris Dickinson will get the victory for that. All right. We have a 10-man tag as well. We got Fred Rosser, Dave Finlay, Rocky Romero, Alex Coughlin, and Alex Zane going up against Team Filthy's Tom Lawler, JR Kratos, Danny Limelight, Royce Isaacs, and Jarrell Nelson. Ooh, that ought to be really crazy. But I don't know. The good guys might pull it out. I doubt it, but the good guys might pull it out. I'm gonna pull for Fred Rosser, Dave Finlay, Rocky Romero, Alex Coughlin, Alex Zane. I think they'll pull off the upset. That they're gonna be my upset pick. All right. We have a tag team match. Clark Connors, Carl Fredericks going up against Jeff Cobb and TJP, which I believe, TJP, Jeff Cobb of United Empire will get the victory. We have Will Ospreay going up against Ren Narita. I mean, that's a pretty easy one. Will Ospreay. We have Juice Robinson in a singles match against Moose. This is an interesting matchup. This is a very interesting matchup, but I think Moose will take it. I definitely believe Moose will take this. And then we have a very special match where Kazuchika Okada will go up against the debuting Buddy Matthews, formerly known as Buddy Murphy. That's right. Kazuchika Okada, after winning the G1, called out Buddy Matthews saying that, hey, I'll face you at Battle in the Valley. So Kazuchika Okada will be in San Jose, California to take on Buddy Matthews. That should be a really good match. I'm looking forward to that match. Buddy Matthews on a New Japan Pro Wrestling show. I can't wait for that. Now, while I don't believe he will beat Okada, I expect a great match and could possibly be match of the card. I think that could be match of the card. And then the main event will be for the Never Openweight Championship as Jay White, Switchblade Jay White, will be making his second defense against Tomohiro Ishii, somebody that's held this championship before. So this should be a good, hard-hitting match, but I do believe Switchblade Jay White will retain. So you got quite an interesting card here, but the match that I'm looking the most forward to is Kazuchika Okada versus Buddy Matthews. That should be an excellent showdown. Looking forward to that. I would have loved to have seen Buddy Matthews in the Best of Super Juniors tournament. I think that is where he should have debuted. I mean, this is fine and all, but I really would have loved to see him debut in that tournament. And even TJP. TJP in the Best of Super Juniors tournament would have been nice as well. I would have been down for that. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer. I would have loved to have seen him in that tournament. Chris Bay. Chris Bay would have been nice for the Best of Super Juniors. Why not? He would have been a great addition. I like it when it's a good mix of in promotion and out promotion talent in tournaments like this, because you only have tournaments like this once a year. You know what I mean? So, but that kicks off this weekend. So looking forward to that. We got a lot of wrestling this weekend, a lot of wrestling. Now, let's transition into AEW's Full Gear. That's right. Full Gear will be Saturday evening. Definitely looking forward to that. That'll be in Minneapolis, Minnesota at the Target Center. So, it's going to be a cold, cold day, but hey, they'll be inside, right? let's take a look at this card. So we have let's see. We have a pre-show match. So we have a pre-show match, which is Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa will be teaming up to go up against Jamie Hayter and Nyla Rose. This should be an interesting matchup. I know Nyla Rose has been talking a little bit of smack to Hikaru Shida, and I know that they still have to face each other in their match for the TBS championship tournament. So that's definitely going to be rather interesting. And I believe Jamie Hayter has to face Thunder Rosa. So this is a nice little preview match for when they get ready to face each other in their respective singles matches in the TBS championship tournament. Who do I think will win this match? It's going to be tough, but I'm going to go with Shida and Thunder Rosa. I'm going to go with those two. I just think that's the stronger team. Not to look down on Jamie Hayter, but over the years, Shida has had Nyla Rose's number. And when you have a partner like Thunder Rosa, I mean, it's a strong team. So I think Shida and Thunder Rosa will get the victory. But it should be good. That should be a really good, strong potential pre-show match. All right, kicking off to the main card. Let's see. We got a tag team match of Cody Rhodes and Pac going up against Andrade El Idolo and Malachi Black. You know, these guys have definitely been back and forth with each other. You know, Andrade and Malachi Black have formed a bond or formed a partnership. And of course, you can throw FTR in there. They've kind of been working together. This one could go either way. I'm going to go with Andrade and Malachi Black. I'm going to go with those two. But it could go either way. But that's just my prediction. I think the bad guys will win. But it could go either way. All right. We have a Falls Count Anywhere trios match where it's Christian Cage and Jurassic Express going up against the Super Click, which is Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. I'm going to be going for the Super Click because, you know, I love Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. But it would not surprise me if Christian Cage and Jurassic Express got the win. It wouldn't surprise me. But I'm gonna cheer for the Super Click. I hope they win, but it wouldn't surprise me if Christian and Jurassic Express won. But it should be good. Falls Count Anywhere should be a great match. This next match, I believe, has a great chance of being the best match on the card. And that's CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston. I expect this match to be a banger. I expect it to really tell a great story. Hard-hitting, ruthless. And you know what? It would not surprise me one bit if Eddie Kingston dethrones CM Punk. I mean, it's obvious he's kind of going into this as supposedly the underdog because, you know, he's been called a bum and treated like a bum. But you know what? It would not surprise me at all if Eddie Kingston pulls off the upset and defeats CM Punk. CM Punk's been undefeated so far in AEW. But you know what? I think Eddie Kingston will pull it off. I think he'll pull it off. I do. So I'm pulling for Eddie Kingston. I love CM Punk, don't get me wrong. But I think Eddie Kingston's going to pull off the upset. Okay, we got a singles match, Darby Allin versus MJF. I love Darby Allin. but I see MJF winning this. And I think you gotta have MJF win this. Because more and more, they gotta continue to build up MJF to be a top heel. Because one day MJF is going to be champion at some point. It's inevitable. So I think you gotta continue to keep him strong and get him wins on pay-per-views. So I think MJF will take this. Will defeat Darby Allin. And I'm not really that big of an MJF fan. So, but yeah, I think MJF will take it. And then we have the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line as the Lucha Brothers will defend against FTR. For the sake of the fact that FTR are currently the AAA Tag Team Champions, I see Lucha Bros winning. I think the Lucha Bros will definitely retain. And, I think it'll be awesome. I think it'll be an awesome match. Of course, I'll be happy for FTR regardless. I mean, they're North Carolinian wrestlers like me. I'm a North Carolinian. They're from North Carolina. So, got to show my love for my North Carolinians. But it should be a great match. Should be a really great match. All right. We got a Minneapolis street fight. We got the Inner Circle, which, of course, is Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, and Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz, going up against the Men of the Year, Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and America's Top Team, which is Andre Arlovsky, Junior Dos Santos, and Dan Lambert. Now, with this, I definitely believe that Inner Circle will get the victory, only because America's Top Team, they kind of were the last ones that had the momentum. So I definitely feel that the Inner Circle will win and will get a chance to humiliate Dan Lambert. So I definitely think that's what's going to happen with that. We have another match that is definitely going to be a banger and could potentially be match of the card. And this is the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament Finals, which is Miro versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Here's the thing with that. This is tough. This is really, really tough. I like both of these competitors. Miro had a really good TNT championship run. But I'm torn. I'm torn between who should really win this. Because if Miro wins, I mean, it'll be good to get him back in some sort of title picture. But of course, I don't see him defeating, the winner of tonight's AEW World Championship match. I just don't see him winning. But if Bryan Danielson won, then either Kenny Omega or Hangman Adam Page will have to eventually defend against Bryan Danielson. And I just... part of me wants to believe the title match is where he suffers his first loss, but you never know. You never know. You never know. I'm going to stay neutral on this because realistically, I am fine with either Miro or Bryan Danielson winning. I just think it's really going to be interesting to see what happens with whoever does win that match en route to their future title shot. All right, you have the AEW Women's World Championship on the line as Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, will defend against Ty Conti. Now, Ty Conti has been on a roll. She's been racking up wins, and she's ranked number 1. This is Ty Conti's second championship opportunity, because I remember she did have one against Shida, but she couldn't beat Shida. She came close. She came really close. And she'll be really close in this match. And I hope Anna Jay will be in her corner, but I think it's not going to be enough, and Dr. Britt Baker will retain. I still truly believe that Thunder Rosa is probably who's going to end up dethroning Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, for that title. It'll probably be at Revolution next year, but I do see Britt Baker making it through the end of this year as champion, for sure. But man, Ty Conti has been getting better and better in the ring. She's a fan favorite, and I think it's going to be a great match, but I just don't see her winning. And then we got the main event, the AEW World Championship. Kenny Omega will be defending against friend and former AEW World Tag Team Champion partner, Hangman Adam Page. And to be honest with y'all, I think Hangman Adam Page will dethrone Kenny Omega and become the new AEW World Champion. Oh yeah, I think it's going to happen. I think you got to pull the trigger. Not to mention with AEW having a show in Norfolk, Virginia coming up. And of course, Hangman Adam Page is from Virginia. This would be a great homecoming for him to come back as AEW World Champion. I think you got to pull the trigger. I think this is his time to win, and I think he ends up doing it. He's been doubted. He's been looked down on. I think this is his time. I think Hangman Adam Page will do it. I mean, if Christian can beat Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page can do it. And I think it's only a matter of time. I know Don Callis just returned in Kenny's corner, but I think it's time to pull that trigger and make Hangman Adam Page your AEW World Champion. This is it. Last pay-per-view of the year. I think it's time to pull the trigger. But there's the card. And wow, what a card we have. This is a strong card. This is a very strong card. Like I said, matches that I think will be like the top 3 matches. CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson versus Miro, and Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page. Although Dr. Britt Baker versus Ty Conti could be up there. That could be a banger too. So, nonetheless, you got a strong card here. You got a very strong card. I like what AEW is doing. This should be great. I'm looking forward to it. That's pretty much it. Just a few other things to go over. I'm happy for Mustache Mountain. Mustache Mountain prevailing in a fatal 4-way, and they will get an NXT UK tag team title shot against Pretty Deadly. And I think you finally got to pull the trigger on them dethroning Pretty Deadly and Mustache Mountain finally winning those tag titles. I think you got to do it. And my guess is either two things are going to happen. Either one, they'll win the tag titles, or 2, they'll lose and one will turn on the other. Which in this case, I think it may be Tyler Bate turning on Trent Seven. This is a bold prediction, But if they don't win, I think Tyler Bate turns on Trent Seven. I just have that feeling. I have that feeling that could happen if they are unsuccessful in one of those tag titles, because they've already had one shot. They've already previously had one shot, and they weren't able to do it. So they don't do it a second time. I really feel like Tyler Bate's going to turn on Trent Seven. So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens, but I'm looking forward to that, and I hope they win the tag titles. I really do. Because they've been NXT tag team champs, but they've never been NXT UK tag team champs. So definitely want to see that happen. NXT 2.0. You know what's really, really just ironic and crazy? On this past Tuesday's episode of NXT 2.0, all of the Asian wrestlers that competed lost. They all lost. Io Shirai was on the losing side when they went up against Toxic Attraction. Her and Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter. And, Caden Carter's, technically Filipina. So they both lost. Saray lost to Kaylee Ray. She's Japanese. Boa lost to Joe Gacy by disqualification. I mean, hey, a loss is a loss. Ikemanjiro and Kushida, known as Jacket Time, lost to the Creed brothers, which I just still do not understand how that tag team name came up. That is such a dumb tag team name. Shoot, you had Ru Feng lose to Cameron Grimes. You had Erica Yan lose to Elektra Lopez. And yeah, every last one of those Asian wrestlers that competed lost. They were on the losing end. It's crazy. Io Shirai, I mean, honestly, I know she's feuding with Toxic Attraction, but it's like, realistically, what's the point? I mean, I fear for Io Shirai going to the main roster, but I mean, it's gonna happen sooner or later, because realistically, there's not really anything left for her to do in NXT. I mean, I thought she was gonna end up having a feud with Taya Valkyrie, but they released her. And those two, they have history that goes all the way back to Japan. But that's not going to happen. So I mean, and Zoe Stark, I mean, she's out with knee injury. She's going to be getting knee surgery, so she'll be out for a while. So I mean, honestly, I think the time has come where they got up Io Shirai. I mean, she's already been NXT women's tag team champion. So I mean, she's already won an NXT award for female competitor of the year, overall competitor of the year, and future star of NXT during her first year. So, I mean, there's not really anything left in NXT for Io Shirai to do, to be honest with y'all. I think the time has probably come where they're going to have to pull the trigger and call her up to the main roster. And it sucks, because I honestly don't think they will book her well on the main roster. And something tells me that it wouldn't surprise me if they did the same thing with Kairi Sane, with Io Shirai, and partner her up with Asuka. Because, I mean, they have history. they were part of Triple Tails with Mio Shirai. I mean, they did that with Kairi Sane and Asuka, formed the Kabuki Warriors. And that's pretty much what made Kairi Sane relevant on the main roster, because she really didn't hardly have any singles matches on the main roster, nor does she have a singles run. So I just feel like they're not really going to have a choice but to call Io up to the main roster. She's literally done everything that she could do in NXT. So I just fear for how she's going to get booked on the main roster, but it's going to have to happen sooner or later. Casey Catanzaro, Caden Carter, there's no telling if they will ever win the tag titles. It would have been nice. I mean, they've been kind of a lost in the shuffle for a while. I mean, yeah, I kind of know pro wrestling's fake. That's nothing new. I hate fake fighting. Of course it's fake. It's scripted. Duh. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Welcome to the channel. Let's see. That's why it's entertainment. Anyway, there's no telling when they will ever get a tag title shot again. They're kind of, they've kind of been doing TikTok videos here and there, but other than that, looks like they're going to be feuding with Toxic Attraction for a while, or so it seems. Saray, lately she's been booked to win on 205 Live, but not on NXT. She's been kind of on a losing streak since her match with Dakota Kai. So there's no telling if and when she'll bounce back. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It's just a bummer because I feel like she's one of those that's kind of sort of lost in the shuffle. And, she got fed to Kaylee Ray because, they got to continue to build up Kaylee Ray. I mean, we're talking about the longest reigning NXT UK Women's Champion, and now she's on NXT. So little by little, they got to build her up to be in the title picture. So it just sucks that Saray had to be fed to her. I mean, it's pretty bad when, she's on 205 Live having matches. I mean, she's been winning on 205 Live, but still. I mean, she debuted. They brought her over from Japan. She had victories up into Dakota Kai. And then she's been on a losing streak. So it's been kind of rough. It's been kind of rough for her. Boa, I don't know what's up with that situation because we haven't seen Mei Ying. I mean, the last time we saw her, she wrestled Indy Hartwell and she lost pretty quick too, almost like a squash. But now Boa is solo now. He's got the face paint and such. And yeah, they have an opportunity to do something with Mei Ying. But after having her lose to Indy Hartwell, she hasn't been seen since. So yeah. And like I said, jacket time, Kushida and Ikemanjiro. I mean, Kushida, who really didn't have that good of a NXT Cruiserweight Championship run, he's now in a tag team. And it's just bad because any tag team that's not him and Alex Shelley, the Time Splitters, just doesn't seem legit. But it's just another one of those, hey, they're both Japanese. Let's put them together. So it's just a bummer. Because like I said, Kushida didn't really have that good of a Cruiserweight Championship run. You know? But yeah. And Carmelo Hayes, I mean, there's no telling when he's even going to defend the NXT North American title again. But I'm guessing supposedly Pete Dunne might be in the running, but I don't know. I mean, he could be in the running for that, but just with Pete Dunne, you can never tell. Because, I mean, he's capable of being in the running for the NXT North American title as well as the NXT championship. So, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, just and then what the heck are they doing with like MSK and the Grizzled Young Veterans doing these weird segments where MSK looks completely lost, Grizzled Young Veterans acting like, you know, they're swindlers. Like, these segments just seem really, really weird. Really weird. So, I mean, yeah. It's just been really crazy on NXT 2.0. And it's just, I feel like it's just not as good anymore. You know, I understand that they're building up, you know, the younger stars and such, but it hadn't really been that good lately. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's cool that they're rekindling the rivalry with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. You know, throw Cora Jade in the middle. I mean, I guess that's cool, but I don't know. Just NXT 2.0 just hasn't really been that good. Hadn't really been that good. And I just feel like it's on life support now. What happened to Triple H's baby? It's not the same anymore. Just not the same anymore. And then looking at the current Survivor Series situation, like Survivor Series, I mean, it's already bad enough when the teams originally just got announced randomly on Twitter instead of during like a show. It's just, this is really, really bad. I mean, the advertising and just the building up of stories for Survivor Series hadn't been good. Hadn't been good. I mean, you already got a few changes from the initial teams. You know, Dominic Mysterio's no longer on Team Raw. He got destroyed and replaced by Bobby Lashley. Shoot, Naomi's not on the team anymore. Aaliyah randomly is not on the team anymore. So it's crazy. And apparently, Sami Zayn is not on the team anymore. Because apparently he got beat by Jeff Hardy, and now Sami Zayn's not on the team anymore. So it's like you're going away from the original plan, and then you have to do all these random matches where if you lose, you're no longer on the team. Or Sonya Deville is like, well, I don't like you. You're off the team. And that's what happened with Naomi and Aaliyah, which Aaliyah, she apparently they had a 6-woman tag match. I think it was her, Naomi, and one other person, and they beat. Oh, it was her, Naomi, and Sasha Banks, and they defeated Shayna Baszler, Shotzi Blackheart, and Natalya. But yet, Aaliyah is kicked off of Team Smackdown, which I don't really understand why she was on there in the first place. It's not like she did anything to get on that team. But, I mean, it's weird. It's just really weird now. So now, you know, I guess subject to change, we have Team Raw as Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Rey Mysterio, and Bobby Lashley. Which, don't get me wrong, is a strong team. But that's already gone through one change. It was both Mysterios, but Dominic got eliminated by Bobby Lashley, pretty much got squashed. And Bobby Lashley replaced him. And then for Team SmackDown, I mean, you got Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, King Woods, and Happy Corbin, and they still need another member to replace Sami Zayn. I mean, what are they going to do? Have Madcap Moss fill in? So you have Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss? You know, it's just dumb. It's really messed up what they're doing with Sami Zayn as well. So, I mean, just it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. And then, it doesn't end there. You also got the women. The women's Survivor Series teams. I mean, there really hasn't been any change to Team Raw yet. So you still have Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Queen Zelina. And then for Team SmackDown, you got Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Natalya, Shotzi Blackheart, and then they still have an opening to fill. So I wonder who they're going to fill that missing spot with. But I'm pretty sure Team Raw, there's gonna be a change to the women's Team Raw. There's already been a change to the men's Team Raw and Team SmackDown, and also the women's Team SmackDown. So I'm pretty sure next week there's going to be a change to the women's Team Raw. I feel it coming. But we shall see. But realistically, I'm not really that excited for Survivor Series. There's no build-up. There's not really any storylines to build up to these matches. I mean, you know, right now there's only 4 matches, you know, both Survivor Series matches, both Raw and SmackDown women's champions facing each other, and both Universal and WWE champions facing each other. You know, that's what they have. That's what they have right now. And it's just, but not a lot of buildup. And they're about to go into go home mode next week because Survivor Series is on the 21st. That's next weekend. That's next Sunday. So, but that's WWE for you. So can't really be surprised. But anyway, that's pretty much all that I have for this episode. Like I said, I know it's late, but I wanted to go ahead and take care of this, do these previews. But yeah, this weekend is going to be loaded. New Japan Pro Wrestling's Battle in the Valley, the start to the World Tag League and Best of Super Juniors. You got Stardom's Goddess of Stardom Tag League wrapping up this weekend. You got AEW Full Gear this weekend. So this is going to be a loaded weekend for pro wrestling. So pro wrestling fans, rejoice. There's a lot to see. There's a whole lot to see. But anyway, that's all that I have for this episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can catch every video that I release. And hope everybody has a blessed weekend. And I will see y'all soon. This is Blitzball Champ for another Pro Wrestling Talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. Take care. See y'all soon.